Alright, it's another video. It's pretty much gonna be about, well, I mean, you read the the title, but it's pretty much gonna be about holsters. Now, me personally, I've always liked hard shell holsters. I know there's some issues with dirt and debris that get into the locking mechanism, cause it for you not being able to unholster your weapon. Also, the tolerances in it can be kind of tight, which makes it hard for if there's more dirt for even if you can unlock it, you won't be able to pull it out, or it'll just cause malfunctions. Those are mainly for like the Serpa, like Blackhawk, Serpa holsters and stuff like that. But me, I still like them. I just like the level of retention, how solid the platform is. When I hear that click of the weapon going into the holster, I know it's locked in. I don't have to fumble around with a clasp or a button or a lanyard or whatever. I put it in and it's locked in. And to take out, I don't got to worry with a flicking some snap off or doing a lanyard or bungee cord or whatever. It's just I push down on that release, weapon comes out. But when you have different model pistols, even let's say you have a Glock 34, it's not going to fit in a Glock 19 or Glock 17 Serpa holster, especially airsoft, because the airsoft Glocks have a little bigger tolerances on the slide. They're a little fatter. The way to get around that, I heard, is to get a higher caliber Glock. Like instead of getting a 9mm Glock holster for like a 17, you get I think they say get a Glock 21 holster because that's like a 40 cal or something. And that solves the issue with the airsoft Glocks being tight inside of the holster. So I dealt with that for years, and I love all kinds of pistols. I like the Glock. I like my FNX 45 a lot. CO2 M9 is fun, or it's 1911, which I don't have right now. Probably can get another one anyway. So, and I even forgot to add this. If you have a light, you're pretty much shit out of luck for getting a Serpa holster. You get Kydex one or Safariland holster, but like that Safariland or that Kydex is only going to be for that gun you use it for. It's not cross compatible with other pistols or other models. So Blackhawk came out with the omnivore holster. They have 3 versions. This version is the TLR1 to TLR2. I have the TLR1 HL. They also have a holster for the Surefire X300 or X3000 light, and then they also have the 3rd version where if you don't have a weapon light, you get these little rail mounts that you put onto the weapon for it to go into the holster. Because these holsters don't lock onto the gun. Like most of these Serpa holsters lock onto the trigger guard, like around here, it locks into there. So these holsters either lock onto that little plastic piece, which I actually have a few, or they lock onto the weapon light. So boom, click, it's in. It's not going anywhere. Push, and boom. What it does is actually locks onto the light. So that means you can pretty much fit it on any other pistol. So if I take this off and put it on my FNX 45 if I can, it actually goes on. Tighten this down a little bit. Now it'll fit my FNX 45. And it'll fit I am now. Obviously, as you saw with the M9 and the FNX45, it was a little bit looser. That's because with the omnivore holster, it'll include the spacers, which I'll show you more of. So that way, if you do run certain guns that are a lot smaller or medium compared to full size like an FNX45, it has these spacers to keep the weapon a little more secure inside. It will still lock in, as you saw, but you know, it had a little bit of play back and forth. So let me show you actually what comes with the omnivore holster. Now this attachment right here, I got separately. This is like the duty loop holster thing. I don't remember the exact name, but I like having it a little drop down from the belt. I used to run thigh holsters a lot, but after a while that kind of gets annoying and constantly, you know, shifts out of place, and it's just a mess. And there's extra latches and just clips you have to do. But so for now, instead of going right on to the belt, I got a little drop, like a duty holster, which I highly recommend, especially if you wear a plate carrier. If you have this too high up on your waist, you might come into issues where it come in contact with a cummerbund or whatever side panel you have on your plate carrier. It's also a little more natural than having to reach up really high on your waist. What it comes with, open this, there we go. Comes with a paddle. If you don't want to run it on a belt, you just want to run it like a everyday carry paddle holster. It also comes with the actual belt attachment, and then it comes with these spacers. I have another spacer somewhere. It goes on the bottom of the holster. This is a spacer for the thumb in case you want it a little higher. I have it at the highest setting because a lot of the guns I use are really big, so it sits very high in the holster, so I really gotta reach down. So this is the medium I have right now on mine, is the high. If you don't have any on it, it's just a low. And then you have the spacers for the top of the slide. So as you can see, this is the lowest one for like the smallest slide pistols. This is the medium, and then this is like like the highest. Not the highest. You can obviously run the holster without these spacers, but that's so it's like no spacer, low spacer, medium spacer, which is what I have in the gun in the holster, and then high spacer. Quick note about attaching. As you can see, these screws are not Blackhawk supplied screws. They're just screws I laying around because this mount right here is very thick. The screws that came with the holster, right, came with both the holster and the actual drop leg, because the drop leg did come with screws. They were just too short. I can't tell which ones are which. They're pretty much all the same Phillips head. It's kind of pretty much same length screw, but these were a little too short. The Safariland holster has, I guess, different tolerances compared to other ones. So with these regular attachments that are thin, obviously it will work. But if you have like a duty belt system, which is very thick, you're gonna need a slightly longer screws. So these are just some screws I had laying around that I used. This is to adjust your tension like any other. The other spacer I was talking about is a spacer that goes down here. It pretty much gives more space upwards to push up against the light to push it up a little bit more. I haven't had to use it. I guess the only time I would have to use it is on my M9, since my M9 seems to be the smallest slide gun I kind of have. But the reason I don't run my M9 is because there's no recoil spring in it. I took the recoil spring out, and recoil spring guide rod, and this gun's kind of a piece of work. So I mostly run the Glock with the TLR1. For the TLR1, to fit on multiple lights, you have this little bracket right here that screws in with this screw. This bracket right here says GL for Glock, to fit the Glock, the special Glock groove. Now on an FNX 45, you have a more traditional 1913 Picatinny rail, as well as the M9 pretty much has a more 1913 type Picatinny. So you get different ones. This is for Beretta 92. This is for 1913 rail. And this is for P320 or the M17. You can use a lot of these spacers for different guns other than the ones that they specify. Like you've seen before, you know, this will fit on the FNX 45 just fine. It will lock into the groove. The only thing is you have a little bit of play, and if you can see, the gap between the trigger guard and the end of the flashlight is kind of wide. There's a little bit of space in between. So if I were to use the actual 1913 mount, it would help close that gap and stop some of the play. But doesn't mean it's not usable. Like you saw, I put in the holster, locks in. It's fine. It will still work. But yeah, this is the HL, TLR1 HL. I like it because the X300 Surefire is like 200 something bucks. I know Surefire is a very good company, but I'm not paying 200 for weapon light. I did pay 115 bucks for this on Amazon, but free 2-day shipping, and it's 800 lumen. HL pretty much stands for high lumen. So this is nice. I like it. You got your, if you're using your free hand, down is momentary. Double click down gives you strobe. So double click down, go up for continuous on, and if you go strobe and go up, immediately you'll have continuous strobe. So double click down and then up. So it's a nice little light. If you're one-handed, you're cleaning rooms, you can shine the light a few times and then bang bang, or go down, have continuous on, and you can fire. Or if you're using two-handed grip, you just use your thumb to actuate it. But yeah, that is the Omnivore holster with the TLR1 HL on my Glock 34. It's my project gun, if you've seen my other video. So stay tuned for more.